Hey guys, this is the second video of a 10-part series on how to wholesale houses. So in today's video, we're gonna talk a little bit about talking to sellers. So we've already done some prospecting. We've identified some houses that we'd like to wholesale, and we've put together a list. Hopefully you've jotted down a bunch of addresses. You left some notes with these ugly houses, and we've now got a pretty decent pipeline of sellers who might be contacting us, either through text messaging or just calling us directly. So what do you say? What happens when these sellers call you and they inquire about your note? Now, again, we wrote two different messages on these notes. Okay, so the first one was a little bit more vague. It was, hey, my name is John. I have a quick question for you. Give me a call. The second one was a little bit more direct and said, hey, this is John. I'm interested in purchasing your house. Please give me a call. So you're going to get a couple of, depending on which note you decided to write, you're going to get a couple of different responses. Let's jump right in. So let's say that you were a little bit more direct in your approach and you said that you're interested in potentially buying their house, right? So hopefully these people that are contacting you are going to have some interest potentially, and not everyone will. A lot of them are just going to tell you to F off, right? But let's say that you get some phone calls and some text messages and these people are interested. So what do you say? What do you say to these potential motivated sellers? So if they call you and you get them on the line, I think the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask them, hey, are you the owner of 123 Main Street, right? We want to make sure that we're talking to the right person. Every once in a while, it won't be the owner, and that's okay. It still could be a family member or somebody who might be able to help you, but we want to get the owner if possible. So if they say, no, I'm not the owner, or, no, I'm not interested in selling, you can move on, right? But the next question is are you interested in selling that house, right? Again, if they say no, move on. If they say yes, or if they give you any kind of positive response to that, then we can go on to some more questioning. So the main questions I would ask are, why are you looking to sell? What is the condition of the property? When would you like to sell it? And what price would you like to sell it for? And then, of course, we're going to try to set the appointment. So in a perfect world, you're going to get a positive response to all of those questions, right? But we all know that we don't live in a perfect world, and so you're going to have to do some digging. You're going to have to ask some follow-up questions and get a little bit more information. So there are a bunch of questions you can ask when you do get somebody that's interested, and I'm gonna write an entire blog post on this as well, so please check that out so you can actually get the full list of questions. But I mean, the biggest thing that we want to find out is we want to ask questions about the condition of the property. We want to ask, the age of the mechanicals, the roof, the furnace, the water heater, the general condition of the property. We want to ask questions about why they're interested in selling. A lot of times you can uncover motivation and find out how motivated they really are. I think another great question is when would you like to sell? A lot of times, they can give you some information about timeline. Hey, is this something that you'd like to do quickly? Is this, do you have time? And that is also a good indicator of motivation. So there's a bunch of questions you can ask if it's a rental property. If you find out that you're speaking with a seller and the property is a rental property, you're going to want to ask about the tenants. How long are the leases? What are the rents? Who pays utilities? Things of that nature. And then the biggest goal here, remember, we're trying to schedule an appointment to see the property. As wholesalers, it's very important that we see the property. Now, there's another way to wholesale. It's called virtual wholesaling, where you can actually hire people to go out and take pictures of the property. But this is more targeted for beginners, so we definitely want to go out and meet with the seller. We want to see the property. We want to take our own photos of the property, so then later we can send our photos and property information to our cash buyers. So very important that we try to get an appointment. So that's the goal of the phone call, is to get an appointment. But the biggest thing is just be yourself on the phone. If you're texting, that can be a lot easier initially, especially if you're new and you're not as experienced on the phone speaking with potential sellers. So I do encourage you to engage in a lot of texting conversations as well. And but again, biggest goal, we want to set the appointment. We want to schedule a time to go out there and meet with the seller. If you decided not to leave handwritten notes, there is another way to contact these homeowners, and that's through skip tracing. So the way it works, hopefully you jotted down all the addresses when you were out driving for dollars, and you have a big list of addresses now. I will then go to bsnaonline.com. You can pick your municipality, you can type in that address, and then you're going to be able to find the owner's name or the seller's name. Once you have the seller's name, you can match it with the address, and then you can go to truepeoplesearch.com, and that is a free skip tracer. So truepeoplesearch.com, type in the address, you type in the owner's name, and it will generate phone numbers for you. Usually you'll get a few phone numbers, sometimes one or two landline numbers, one or two mobile numbers. Usually the top result is the most accurate result, and we do prefer mobile numbers, especially so that we can text them as well. So then you can add to your database even more. And again, we're not using a fancy CRM, we're just using a simple Excel document. If you're old school and you want to write everything down, that's fine too. I don't recommend going that route because it takes a lot of time. But bsnaonline.com is how you find the owner's name. truepeoplesearch.com is how you skip trace, and then you can get the phone numbers, and then you can call the sellers or you can text the sellers and ask them if they're interested in selling, and go through that same line of questioning that we just talked about. So for more on how to talk to sellers and also how to handle objections, because you're going to get a lot of objections when you're doing this. I mean, this is sales. This is not easy. It takes practice. If you've been in sales before, you know that, not everyone you speak with, not every conversation is going to go smoothly. There's going to be, some smart asses out there that it's going to be challenging to talk to some people. But remember, for everyone that is tough to talk to, there's going to be somebody that's a lot easier to talk to and that's a lot nicer, right? So, the biggest key is that you got to keep a positive attitude. You got to be hungry. You got to want this, right? You got to try to call as many people, text as many people as you possibly can, and you're going to get leads, I promise you. So go to my website, crushingrei.com. I'm going to write an entire blog post about this video, and I'm going to give you a lot more questions to ask these sellers. I'm going to give you a lot more objections to handle, and hopefully you'll be very well prepared to talk to these homeowners and get appointments. Cheers.